Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Story Time. A couple weeks ago, I received a wonderful package in the mail from a publishing company, and they sent me this whole series of books called The Salamander King. And this is book one, just like Grandpa taught me. And this is a story about a salamander, his friends, a fragile pond, and bullies. And it is written. And you can find these books, by the way, on Amazon, or you can email at perkinsphoto@aol.com, or there's the publishing company, and there's the information. But you can find these books on Amazon. And so there's a whole series of these books. And it's a book by Richard Perkins. And I thought it would be interesting, and I hope that you guys will enjoy this, for us to read a chapter a day. So I'm going to be reading this book all week. And it's called The Salamander King. I'm sure I just messed that up, didn't I? But anyway, as I like to say, and there is one of the author's favorite quotes, that wisdom is a wonderful thing to share. And I am so grateful that Mr. Perkins agreed to let them send me his books. So, I'm so sorry. So let's gather our children, gather our blankets and our bears and our yawns too. And let's all settle down, because I have a story to read to you. Do you know what a salamander is? This is what a salamander looks like. See? I apologize. I normally do my nails. But anyway, and that's how you spell salamander. And it's an animal. And so we are going to read and see what this story is all about. Chapter 1. There can be only one. It's a warm sunny afternoon in June of 2007. Wayne, your average 10-year-old fifth grader, was a dirty blonde hair, dressed in khaki shorts, a pastel blue and white plaid shirt, two-tone green and gray day pack, and shuffled black and white high-top Converse Chuck Taylor all-star shoes. Ventures into the woods pretty much each and every day after school to search the edges of Newton's Pond. He looks under rocks near the water, the leaf litter and bark, and sometimes wades in to check under the lily pads for the newts, salamanders, red elves that populate the pond and surrounding area. The pond is located outside the town of Lake Lucerne in the mountains of upstate New York. The nearest home is a good 2 miles away. This land is privately owned by a large manufacturer of organic health products, and only non-motorized transportation is allowed, much to the dismay of the local ATV clubs, but oh well. At the inlet at Commonly Creek that feeds the reservoir, as well as the there's our little friend Wayne, 100 feet wide lined pond. At the outlet, water from the pond flows under the small bridge that spans the river road out into the concrete embankment with the steel gate that is there to capture debris, and down the gently sloping hill through more woods to the mighty Hudson River. This region is the Great River's resource. The local game wardens are tasked with making sure that the steel gate is not plugged and check it daily. After a heavy rainstorm, broken off tree limbs can and do jam it up. The road to the town reservoir being flooded is not an option. Wayne parks his original 1967 Gold Shrimp 5-speed bicycle with the high handlebars and leopard print banana seat behind the outlet bridge, a bump not visible from the reservoir road. He anxiously hurries up through the path in the woods to the pond in search of newts and other salamanders. In one part of the pond, a tree lies across a small shadow cove. The water is very clear and only a couple of feet deep. Sometimes Wayne climbs out on the tree, lies down and scoops the green newts into a small net that appears to be in suspense animation, floating in the still, clear, sunlit water. After a brief look, he submerges the net back into the pond and the newts casually swim away unafraid. Have you ever seen a newt or a salamander? Yeah. They're neat little critters. For reasons completely unknown to him, these gentle amphibians fascinate the promising young herpetologist. Wayne is intrigued and with their touch, physical beauty, colors, behavior, and non-aggression attitudes towards him. This particular Friday afternoon is near the end of the school year, where he is going to graduate from 5th grade to 6th grade with high honors. Wayne puts his day pack against a tree and checks the shoreline of the pond for more of the aquatic phase newts. Sees a small sunfish darting to and fro, a shiny black teacup-sized painted turtle paddling by just under the surface, and a raft of leopard frogs with only their heads sticking out of the water as they sit on a bed of bright green algae, but no green flanked yellow-bellied newts. He hears a repetitious low gurgle sound that might be a tree frog and walks over to the adjacent springtime pool that for the most part has dried up and grown over. Following the strange noise, he digs a little deeper through some leaf litter in the pond's basin. He peels the layers of leaves away, and there he happens upon a large 3-foot long and 1-foot wide piece of old bark that he had never seen before. He thinks to himself, can I lift this up without breaking it? With both hands placed in the strategic spots, Wayne carefully lifts the thick piece of bark and holds it in the air as his mouth drops open. Holy macro! Wayne expels excitedly. He cannot believe his eyes. There is one big, humongous red elf. He breathes quietly, not wanting to scare it away. Wayne goes over the herpetologist's knowledge stored in his head. The red elf phrase is the territorial stage of a newt's mysterious 3-stage life cycle. Born in the water, their color is green. Then they go from water to land, where they turn a reddish orange for 2 to 3 years. And then back to the water they go, becoming green once again, all over an average 15-year period. And a red elf of grandiose size is only 4 inches long from the tip of the nose to the tip of the tail. Here, looking up at me, from the moist layer of leaf litter is a 10-inch long giant. Let's see. The elf has all its toes, very bright orange body and tail, with large, perfectly round crimson spots circled in black, running down its flanks. It appears to be very healthy. And wow, big. Wayne is immediately taken in by these beautiful caramel yellow eyes with their horizontal black marble pupils staring back at him and smiles. Instead of scurrying away into the foliage, the elf is surprisingly relaxed. To Wayne's bitter wildment, the elf looks up at him, budges its nose towards him, makes the same gurgling noise, and sniffs. As if the funny grunts and sniffing are not out of place enough, the elf is now softly humming and looking me right in the eye. Wayne says quietly to himself, not understanding any of this. And clears his throat. Hello, my name is Newton, states the gigantic red elf. Wow, says the pond's namesake, just spoke to me in a funny voice that a sleepy muppet would have, thinks Wayne as he, in his next breath, opens his eyes wide in shock. Whoa, no, this is not happening. I must have eaten something bad from the school's cafeteria, as he pictures the soy meatloaf, carrots, and mashed potatoes in his head. The milk did taste a little sour, he remembers. He continues looking down at the big elf that now smiles back at him. Whoa, did it really just talk to me? He asks himself again. Electrified, Wayne stands and looks all around the forest for another human, no doubt playing a very weird joke on him. Hello, 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 Wayne asks of the creepy tall woods as he spins around in a quickly panicked circle. The young boy's heart is beating rapidly as adrenaline pumps through his veins. He closes his eyes, inhales slowly, then exhales, and after a moment, the sound of his heartbeat subdued in his ears, and the quiet forest once again becomes the focal point of his senses. He simply knows the giant red elf is not there and wonders if he's physically okay. I am too young to have a stroke like Grandma had, right? Hello? Yes, it's me down here. My name is Newton. The elf says louder this time with not so muddy a timbre. Wayne slowly tips his eyes downward, and his once again a drilling charged brain and body follow. The elf is speaking to me. I see and hear him plain as day, he thinks to himself. I have not used it in quite some time, but the voice you are hearing is coming from this remarkable red elf you see before you, Newton proudly yet softly exclaims. Wayne kneels down and exhales another needed, deep, calming breath. He sits cross-legged, watching everything move away from the aerobic, unfocused emotion as the adrenaline discharges from his body and calm, rational thought and sight replaces it. He brings his face closer to see and hear better and smiles because the giant red elf phrase newt is indeed still there. Well, hello, Wayne says as he shakes his head at those mystery he feels talking to an amphibian. You can talk. Are you like an alien or something? Ooh, and you can talk too. Are you an alien? Newton proudly responds with a chuckle. No, I'm not an alien, and yes, I can speak your language, but only to you because you are the Salamander King. This meant nothing, and in a weird way, everything to young Wayne. Salamander King, he repeats, and then asks, why am I the Salamander King? I am not a salamander. I am a human boy. Not a Salamander King. The Salamander King, corrects Newton, and making sure Wayne understands his distraction. There can be only one. Wayne's chest puffs out just a little larger with emotion hearing this intriguing revelation. And yes, you are a human boy. Newton pauses, then continues, but not just any human boy. Newton adjusts his leaf and moss lawn spot to get a bit more comfortable. When finished fashionably, a comfort moist mound to sit upon, he begins his story. We have all been closely watching you for the past couple of years, Wayne. Upon hearing his name, he is startled and sits back wide-eyed, wondering to himself, what the heck is going on here? Newton seeing this, asks, Wayne, is what the man in green calls you? Is it not proper for me to address you in this way? Wayne smiles back. Oh no, that's my name. It's just odd to me for a moment that you actually knew my name on top of, well, talking. Wayne thinks to himself, the man in green is just Justin the game warden. Newton nods, clears his throat, and continues. Almost every day in the spring, summer, and fall, you come to the forest and search for us. You gently lift the roots off of our homes or use your soft net and pick us up. You never squeeze us. You let us walk from one of your hands to the other. Most times you put us right back. Sometimes you take us to your home for a few days, feed us, and oh, that nasty human water you put in the glass house to bathe in, yuck, is what I've been told. Wayne chuckles, watching Newton shake his head back and forth, sticking out his pink tongue. He also thinks, he's right, I should use purified water. A small amount of chlorine for us would be nasty for them. At the same time, Newton watches Wayne's face very carefully for his reaction. He sees him thinking, which is good. Newton continues with, and a couple of days later, you bring us back to the exact spot where you found us, allowing us to be back home with our family. Our families don't have to worry when it is you who takes us. Not very many children bring us back, Wayne. Most of the time they let us go in their backyards and we have to hide from stalking cats and go across roads to get back to our home pond and our families. Many never complete the long and journey. Wayne thinks of being separated from his family by a giant, being careless, put in harm's way, and the sadness on his face is instantly recognizable to Newton. Don't worry, Wayne. It is simply a part of life for us. We're not very high up on the ladder, and we know it. Wayne, emotionally changed by the giant elf's sage words, lies down on the leaf litter, supporting his head with his hand to be face to face. Wayne thinks to himself that Newton reminds him of his wonderful grandpa who has bestowed upon him so many pearls of wisdom he will never forget. In the beginning, we, my family and friends, were quite upset that you had taken my brother away. But after you brought him back unharmed, fatter than when he left, and he spoke of his time with you as nice and rather fun, we all started talking about you. You are unlike any other person that comes to our home. That is why we, who live here at the pond, have named you the Salamander King. I'm telling you this because Newton is bellowed, responding across the pond. Newton is again loudly put forth as a couple leaves dramatically come falling down from the tree on Wayne and Newton's spot. Suddenly, a very large, dark green, brownish bullfrog leaps from the pond and lands right next to Newton. Newton rolls his eyes as the frogs well planted and played theatrics. Newton, the frog crows, just irresistible, just ate another one of the green frogs. What are you going to do about it? Wayne, I'd like to introduce you to his Majestic, the bullfrog. Majestic, I'd like to introduce you to Wayne, I know who he is, Newton. What about Israel? He interrupts. Newton shakes his head because he's embarrassed by both the ignorance of the big bullfrog, who, yes, is in charge of the pond. I have asked Irit to please not eat as many frogs as she has been of late, Newton politely responds, and she says she would rather seek out another source of food. The meadow mice are in abundance, His Majestic barks. Eric needs to change her favorite meal, and she needs to do it now. Well, Newton quietly explains to His Majestic and Wayne, who is once again mirrored in disbelief, staring at the talking frog with his mouth open, glaring back and forth between them both. Irit is a water snake, and your colony did lay another 50,000 eggs this spring, did they not? His Majestic looks around to see if anyone is listening, goes to answer Newton, sees Grobbles pop his red top head out of his tree home, exhales and replies with, "Oh, probably, but that's not the point here. We are not eating any of her relatives now, are we?" Newton smiles and Grumpin shakes his head, thinking, and what if there were 50,000 pleated woodpeckers here? Wayne smiles to himself, going over the information Grandpa taught him. Bullfrogs are ambush predators that are well known to eat almost anything. They eat insects, worms, crawfish, snakes, mice, birds, fish, snails, bats, and even frogs. Pretty much anything that lands in front of them. And they do lay a lot of eggs. Wow, what an interesting character His Majestic, the gigantic bullfrog, is, as Wayne chuckles to himself, amazed at all. Frankly, Majestic, Eric, there wouldn't be a bug or anything else left to us to eat for any of us. But if that is what you deem best for the entire ecosystem here, replies Newton, so that's the way it is. His Majestic expels a disgusted breath. Well, I told you, and you better do something about it, or there will be consequences to pay. If we all leave you know who, she's going to be looking at the aquatic newts. And with that, His Majestic rolls up his third eyelid and vaults backwards into the pond with a loud kaboosh, kasplash. Wayne, to calm his rapidly beating heart, inhales slowly, and thinks about. This transparent eyelid helps frogs survive on land, keeping their eyes moist. Frogs also pull up the third eyelid when swimming underwater to protect their eyes, much like goggles that we wear in the pool. As Wayne exhales softly, trying to wrap himself around being spoken to by another amphibian. Skip a page? Nope, sorry. Just making sure I didn't skip a page. That's a woodpecker. They have beautiful blue eyes, by the way. Yes, you've warned me. And for the 1,000th times, Newton quietly says to himself and Wayne, who is slowly gaining back his composure, "Okay, I heard the bullfrog talking too. What's going on, Newton?" Wayne asked. "It will all become apparent to you soon. Can you be patient?" Wayne pops his eyebrows, shakes his head no, but thinks about one of Grandpa's sayings. Patience is a virtue, and decides, okay, but is anyone else going to talk to me? Newton looks back at Wayne, smiles, tilts his head. That basically means, and what did I just say? Wayne gets it and says, okay, I can be patient. Newton looks around to see if there would be any further interruptions and returns to Wayne. Sorry about the interruptions. This spring the entire pond was black with tadpoles. I can't wait to hear what His Majestic has to say when a male common water snake meanders this way. And oh. Slowly but surely, Wayne notices something new. It was quiet, but it was there. He could hear it, a chuckling, a squeak, a soft chirping of sorts. Before, there was a rustle of leaves or a whistle of wind through the trees, and now he can hear something else. Wayne closes his eyes to focus on the intermingling new sounds when one becomes louder, much louder. Tap, 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 tap. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Grumblings, the large Petered woodpecker, drops down from his hole with wings extended, definitely turns and lands back on the tree. He stops at the exact height of Wayne's head and looks him in the eye. Tap, 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 and sees and grabs or grubs. If we let His Majestic have his way there, with nothing left for any of us to eat, tap, tap. I say I take a trip over to Polywood Bog and see if they know where an available male common water snake is that wouldn't mind the slitter over here. Incredible is a healthy female specimen, you know. Why, yes, Incredible is a very healthy indeed, and at the right age. Sexual maturity in snakes depends on how much of their size, nutrition, and overall health is as it does on age. On average, most healthy, well-fed snakes, like Incredible, have reached their maturity between 2 to 3 years old, and Incredible is just turned 3. She will not lay eggs. Instead, she carries the eggs inside her body and gives birth to 10 or even 20 babies. That's a lot of snakes. With one 7 to 9 inches long. Each one, 7 to 9 inches long. Wayne, hearing this, thinks Grandpa shared information just like this with me on numerous occasions. But no, Grummins, you know the rules. Let's just let nature take its course, Newton replies, liking the large woodpecker very much. Wayne smiles, thinking to himself, nice. And now we have a talking woodpecker. Are you enjoying this book? We're almost done. Tap, tap, tap. All right, I wish I liked the tadpoles. Maybe I can develop a taste for them, Grumman states as he taps and taps his way back up the tree and disappears through a hole that no one would think he could ever fit his body into. I heard that, Grummins, his majestic voice bellows as his head pops up between two lily pads 20 feet offshore. Wayne looks at Newton, sitting there in the leaf litter, his majestic out in the pond, and Grummins, who has popped his head out of the tree hole, looking at him, watching and waiting. Wow, Wayne thinks to himself, what is going on here? I can't tell anyone because they will all think I'm crazy, even Mom and Dad. I know I'm not going crazy. This is some kind of incredible gift just for me, as Wayne looks around again and sees no other human. These are beavers. See? And beavers build dams out of sticks. And you will have to come back tomorrow night or tomorrow when we will read chapter 2, titled, Yes, Children Like You, Wayne. And I think there's 5 chapters in this book. So we'll have enough chapters to read one every day. And we'll get to learn about the adventures of Wayne and the Salamander. There they are. I hope you've enjoyed this. And there's 5 books in this whole series. So if you're enjoying this story, and I'm sure you are, I hope you will go on Amazon and buy the series called The Salamander King. And I know I'm not saying that right, so please don't hold it against me. And I can't wait to read to you again. And we'll read chapter 2 of Richard Perkins' book, The Salamander King. So I'll see you again really soon. Good night, everybody, and thanks for listening.